News: inflation is easing. The Fed's go-to gauge on inflation, core PCE, or personal consumption expenditure, measures how much people spend, minus the swings from food and gas. It just dropped to a 7-month low, now sitting at 2.6%. Meanwhile, as you just saw, President Trump and Ukraine's President Zelensky, they didn't sign that very important rare earth mineral deal that was expected today. So joining us now with his take, David Stryzewski, CEO of Sound Planning Group. David, what a day. A lot to get into. We'll get into the inflation in a moment, but first, you know that breaking news. President Trump and Zelensky, you heard it all, 10 minutes right here, as you saw, had that heated exchange at the White House. Transparency on full display to all the American people. Trump basically said Zelensky was disrespectful. He wasn't ready for peace. So that rare earth minerals deal wasn't signed today as anticipated. It was supposed to help recoup some of the billions the U.S. sent to Ukraine. So if this deal doesn't move forward, David, if there is no peace, what could this all mean for the U.S. economy?
Well, the biggest concern that we have is ultimately these geopolitical events erupting into something greater. I mean, we're talking about, we're on the verge of World War III. We're talking nuclear armed Russia. We're talking, even China, who's been, supplying a lot of that and is really behind it. These are very important things to be playing out in the world stage. But let's just go back to and think about these minerals inside of Ukraine and go back to that famous laptop. Where was Hunter Biden getting paid from? Burisma, an energy company, where? In Ukraine. And so Ukrainian energy companies have been doing things a little bit nefarious for a while. And so when we talk about the resources that are in the ground there that might be, a way of exchange and working together, I mean, there's no way Putin's allowing them to keep it if there's going to be peace. Ultimately, this is something that we need to be thinking about right now. And I think it looks like a great deal. I think, and hopeful for the people of Ukraine that this could be, ended in a way that could be peaceful and that we don't see, somehow everything get taken over. But ultimately, there's a lot of negotiations and potentially a bunch of surprises here on the headlines, in the days ahead.
Yeah, today was supposed to be a good meeting. We were supposed to ink that rare earth mineral deal. We were supposed to come up with some sort of path towards peace in Europe. Doesn't look like that's going to happen as soon as we thought. Let's talk some inflation. This is kind of good news today. What's the latest? What do you think is behind the latest core PCE inflation ease?
Yeah, well, so we're seeing PCE coming down, and so I've been recognizing this trend. And so, people who follow me know that I like to look at trueflation.com. And we've actually seen since Trump has come into office, real inflation come down about 1%. We're talking today about PCE. And so PCE is the Fed's, favorite gauge of, measuring the world and how inflation's working. And so, hey, prices may be coming down in some of these areas, but do you know that this isn't accounting for the eggflation, the shrinkflation, or the homeflation that we're all facing in our personal CPI on a day-to-day basis? And so, when we look at, and this is the concerning part about it, we get the prices down a little bit, but the spending is actually at a 4-year low right now, as far as, falling. It's minus 0.5% if we look at it in an inflation-adjusted basis. And so we are in a very, very interesting place right now. And so as we're kind of slowing down in some of those capacities, I think that it just comes down to how are we experiencing inflation in real life, and everyday Americans do it at the store. And so they're feeling that pain.
Right. Do you think Trump's tariffs are shaking things up a little bit too? People are just wondering where that's going to go.
Of course. Yeah. I mean, the whole tariff conversation could erupt in something, hasn't yet. We're moving from a position of strength, so we've not really seen the tariffs negatively affect us. There's obviously, multiple camps out there that are talking about which way this could ultimately go. But I think ultimately, the people are experiencing, the egg price shortage because of the chicken challenges that we're having right now and flus and things that are out there. But the shrinkflation thing was incredible to me. I was buying some sodas the other day, 8-packs. An 8-pack of soda? I thought that they were 12-packs. Everyone knows it's a 12-pack, but, the price was about the same, a third less product. And then ultimately the homeflation that we're looking at today, I literally just got my property taxes back, up 23%. on the year, and my insurance annual renewal, and I paid annually, is up 22% on the year. So the Fed cannot fix those inflationary challenges.
No.
These are idiosyncratic things, and I think that they recognize spikes in places of pinch points inside of our economy that we're going to probably see lots of as we move forward here into the new year.
Yeah, people are still hurting. What do you think the Fed will do next with rates?
Well, they're data dependent. And so I think that they need to come down a little bit because we have to look at the average consumer here and what they're doing. But, here's the reality. When they dropped rates in September, October, November, December, we were hopeful that that would bring mortgage rates down. It didn't. And so I think that we're ultimately going to have to look at some things from the structural standpoint, and maybe you've heard me say it before. I think we're probably going to have to move to more like a 50 or 100-year mortgage and bond in the United States. But if we can back it by gold, maybe investing in the United States over 50 or 100 years is as good as gold. So we'll see.
I think you got the thumbs up right there by your head, David. David Stryzewski, my friend, CEO of Sian Planning Group. Have a great weekend. Talk to you next
Pleasure.
time.
Thank you so much.
You got it.